Welcome back once again. With us live over the phone is Dr. Mona Magdy. She's head of the Radio and Television Department at the Faculty of Mass Communication, Cairo University. Good morning, Dr. Mona.
Hello, good morning to you and to everybody in the Egyptian society today.
Thank you so much, and happy Media Day to you.
To you as well. Thank you so much.
Our real pleasure. Of course, let us start with the primary goal of media professionals. I mean, what is exactly the primary goal of media these days? I mean, the goals differ from an era to another. From your own point of view, what is the primary goal of media nowadays?
I think there are actually a lot of roles that media should perform nowadays, especially in the era of these digital news and online platforms. First thing is that we need really to be the voice of the people. We need to get in touch with the agenda of the people, to know what could be the messages and to convey those messages to the decision makers. Second thing is that I believe nowadays we know that there are a lot of rumors, disinformation, all those kind of stuff that could really disrupt the performance. And here media should be essential in really combating such kind of practices. While doing this, I think also we as media professionals need to equip ourselves with the new technology, the updates, what's happening in the field around the world, and we should also be responsible and ethically, performantly doing what we should do. So I think media nowadays are having a lot of responsibilities in terms of accountability, in terms of enlightening people with what's happening, and also giving them the accurate information that they should do in order to perform and get right decisions.
Right, so from your own point of view, what are the most or the ugliest challenges that could face media professionals today?
Wow, this is a great question. I think the media industry is not only in Egypt. A lot of media industries around the world now and globally, they do have some kind of real challenges and catastrophic, let's say, problems. I think one of the most important things is the economic crisis and the steps that they have affected badly the media conditions. You see nowadays that the shrinking of the advertising in general affecting, of course, the pieces of cake that media now is getting. If we compare, for example, the media mainstreaming with the tycoons now like Google and Facebook, the digital market of the advertising goes to those big companies. And unfortunately, most of this income will not come back again to the mainstream. This is affecting our budget, of course, in terms of developing ourselves, in terms of equipping the staff with the high qualified training performances. Affects also, I think, the settings and the atmosphere of really working in a healthy and different way. And this is not only one of the main challenge, rather than also the audiences. You can see nowadays that there is no mainstream audiences like before. Now the audiences are fragmented and they are going more into the digital platforms. Of course, radio, television, print, they are trying to do their best in coping with this new media, but of course lacking those kinds of audience research, data and information, how to deal with this data using the recent technology like the generative AI. Those kind of things are still lacking in the media environment. And I think nowadays it's not really an option. So whether to adopt to these systems or not, we need really to go and equip ourselves with this kind of new army in order to be able to perform the future.
Right, so awareness is very much related to media. Media professionals and all media tools should bear in mind that their first and foremost goals is setting right awareness, because awareness can lead to the wrong directions, the wrong awareness. So How do you think the media professionals could contribute to raising awareness of social issues, of political issues maybe, about faith of others, about racism maybe? There are many, many important topics and issues that the world is carrying, and media professionals should be able to handle through their work.
I completely agree with you. I'm not quite sure if you have already witnessed one of the most courageous performance I have seen yesterday also in social media for one of our colleagues. She is a journalist. Her name is Layla Al-Abd. And she was attending, I think, one of the events, the national event, with the Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, the High Excellency Mr. Karim Badawi. During the event, she raised her hand and she asked a very important question regarding the prices of the different gas cylinders for domestic use in Egypt, and how sometimes some of the commercials and traders are really raising the prices even over the price of the government published. And he was very courageous in really putting the agenda of the people on the top of the thing, and the government responded immediately and they took some serious measures to control the prices. I think this is the heart of the role of our media today. We need to be fully responsible, we need to be accountable, and also keep our oppressors accountable. And this is how media can really serve the officials and also the people in terms of having a public benefit.
Right. So on each year when we celebrate Media Day, we pay a lot of tribute and a lot of respect to the radio, because it carried over the years, over its shoulders, the burden of I mean, entertaining people the best way. And we still remember the very popular programs of the 60s until this very time, and nothing can compete with those people. So in your own point of view, what is the difference between the traditional media that we have known in the 60s and the 70s, especially with the radio and those media professionals that we grown up to be their students and look up, I mean, look with pride to their work, and modern digital media now?
You know, you reminded me with the glory time. Before really I joined the Faculty of Mass Communication as one of the staff and academia people, I was used to be part of the children who contributed to the children's programs in the radio in the 1980s and 90s with Abla Fadila and those two. You know, I remember now the ethics and the values that we already were sending to our audiences these days. And I still remember how important the radio was in giving people also the enlightenment of what's happening. You know, it's not only about telling people what they have in the surroundings, rather than also telling them, or at least explaining to them what's happening. And I believe still the mainstream media, although they are still competing with the digital news, they do have their legacy. And I don't think that in the forthcoming days that those mainstream media will go away. I believe they are still working hand in hand with the digital media, and I think this cooperation needs to be there, because each person now, we have different habits, different media consumption, and also different audiences. But really, we need to understand our audiences and know how to deal with the issues that they really try to talk about, and how to include them as part of the conversation, not only as receptive, rather than as an afterthought.
Right. So let's move on to another section of the media, which is very important, the journalism and TV journalism. So, from your own point of view as an expert, of course, and a role model, what are the good qualifications for a good journalist and the basics for TV journalism?
I think nowadays we are, as journalists, either video or print or even audio, are having the most tougher, I think the toughest, one of the toughest professions in the world. Because you need nowadays to be equipped, as I mentioned, with the high technology things, dealing with the most, let's say, updated information and communication technologies, being aware of what's happening around, but also still you have to be ethical enough and try to be integrated with these new techniques, adapt and be resilient to all these circumstances that are happening. And one of the most important things I believe in my profession and in my opinion is the critical thinking. We need to have our quality time in order to educate also and share with people how can they be more critical thinking and analyzing what's happening around them, and how to be fully digitally aware of what's happening, their rights, their own responsibilities, and how also to behave as socially responsible as we could.
So, how is modern technology assisting or strengthening, in other words, the development of the work of journalism and TV journalists?
I think this new media and also the new techniques have opened a lot of windows and new eras to us as journalists as well. Nowadays, while dealing with the big data and those techniques of cross-border working with the other media people outside even the geographical borders, these kind of new approaches really open a lot of new things and give us a way of tackling new topics to the world. And I believe also it opens the way of communicating and cooperating with each other as humans. Nowadays you can see kind of a cross-border investigative journalist that works around 20 or 30 countries. I think in the past that was not possible. And these kind of generators, which are talking about the latest new technologies, the generative AI, I think this will still, we are still exploring, and we are not quite sure how to best integrate those new models into our work. But I believe keeping updated with what's happening, trying to also be capable and train ourselves, and also teach our colleagues how to deal ethically with those things, I believe this will affect the media positively. It also opens new eras of researching the information, of filling a lot of gaps that could be also in the history, and give us a level of how to predict the future with solid and scientific models by having data in front of you and maybe as a kind of expectation of what could happen in the next 10 years. So I believe these kind of new things will open up a lot of ideas, will, I believe, open also new doors for creativity and innovativeness, but that will also include being aware of how we should responsibly use these techniques.
Right. On this note, of course, Mrs. Mona Magdy would like to thank you and congratulate you on this very special day. You are the head of Radio and Television Department at the Faculty of Mass Communication, Cairo University. You have a beautiful Friday. Thank you so much for talking to us on The Breakfast Show. And I guess by this we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to all of you. Till we see you again tomorrow morning. That's a goodbye.